Well, it was a dashed hope for Nigeria in the finals of the 2023 African Cup of Nations. And two second-half goals from Franck, Kessie and Sébastien cancelled out William Troost-Ekong's first-half opener, as hosts Cote d'Ivoire beat Nigeria 2-1 to win the cup on home soil. Well, Sunday's meeting was the 29th time both sides met, with Nigeria winning 9 and losing 10 of the games. Vajide, I would say the match got many people, first off, apprehensive. Many thought, the game would have gone our way, but, it went the way of the Cote d'Ivoirians because they had a good game. But first off, let's start with what stood out first for you in the tournament that held last night.
You see, in football, 1 + 1 doesn't always equals 2. We see teams begin a tournament very badly and progress beyond people's expectations. When Nigeria appeared at the World Cup finals for the first time in 1994, we beat Bulgaria 3-0 in our first match. Bulgaria, in spite of that adversity, got to the semi-final. Nigeria was eliminated in the second round. Cote d'Ivoire came third in its group, lost to Guinea-Bissau by 4-0. But they fired their coach, and we started seeing improvement, and that improvement took them all the way to the final. The second team since 2006 to reach the final of the competition as hosts. I said something last week that given the momentum that the Ivorians possessed, with the way they were coming back from the jaws of defeat to win matches, that it would be very difficult for any team to beat them. Because at that time, they had suddenly discovered a high level of confidence, and with the entire nation behind them, they would really take some stopping. And you can see even when they were playing with 10 players against Mali, they still overcame Mali. That's to tell you the indomitable spirit of man. And where you apply yourself fully to a mission, chances are that if you believe in yourself, you succeed. That's what we saw yesterday. And again, when you look at our team, the only team that you could say we dominated from start to finish was Cameroon. Every match that we played, we were dominated by the opponent. Even South Africa really gave us some hiding, especially in midfield. They created many chances. So the fact that this team got to the final does not take away the frailties that are very evident in the team. A team without a creative midfielder. And the person who played as our creative midfielder, which is the most advanced midfielders of them all, Alex Iwobi, doesn't appear to have the engine to do the job, because the creative midfielder will be busy throughout the game. When the defender takes the ball, he's looking for you because he believes that you hold the key to unlocking the opponent's defense. He doesn't have the energy to play that role, whereby you are using your peripheral vision. You are looking at who is here, who will give me this ball. You anticipate that the pass will come, and then you unlock the opponent's defense. Iwobi didn't have that energy. Yet, you could not make him play the entire game. And once you remove him, the midfield breaks down, because that's the only person with that spark in midfield who could create something. So, for me, this team already exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect them to get this far. We are not even ranked in the top 5 in Africa. look at the teams ranked in the top 5. Morocco, Tunisia, Senegal, Egypt, they all fell by the wayside. And Nigeria got this far. So it will be hypocritical of me to start criticizing and say, dude, they played badly. Yes, some players didn't really turn up yesterday. Those guys should have beaten us by more than 1 goal. If you look at even the way the match went, the number of saves that our keeper had to make. Their own keeper didn't make a single save. Our only shot on goal was the goal. So I think that looking back, I would say, well done to the Super Eagles for getting that far.
Right.
That kind of team, I never believed they could get that far. So I'm holding back my gunpowder because I could say they exceeded my expectations. So that is the thing. Let's tell ourselves the truth.
Right. Point taken there, BKO. So Stanley, we've heard BKO raising his own points with regards to the midfield, saying that it was lacking in the match we saw last night. But from a tactical standpoint now, what adjustments would you say, or would you suggest rather, for Nigeria in future tournaments, taking a cue from all the pointers that has been raised so far?
Well, first and foremost, the commission has come and gone. This issue of lacking a creative midfielder didn't just start today. And it's so pathetic that we've decided to ignore some players. When I mean some players, I'm talking about since we've not gotten them from abroad. We failed to look inward. Now, Esther, I'll tell you for a fact, it takes only a man that understands the domestic league that can say, okay, I have spotted this guy that can solve our midfield crisis. We've made do with Alex Iwobi. Need I also remind you that Alex Iwobi naturally is not an attacking midfielder. Alex Iwobi reminds you of a certain Sami Nasri. Alex Iwobi reminds you, because of the modern day of style of football, every player should be able to play in a particular position. The highest goal scorer of the Nations Cup plays as a right fullback at his club side in the Segunda B in Spain. Now, this is what football has done to us, an eye-opener. Like Jide said, I didn't give the last time I was here, I would never give the Super Eagles the chance to get this far. And let me say it here that I apologize to Jose Peseiro. And I repeat, I apologize to Jose Peseiro. For everything the Super Eagles achieved, there's no way you would jettison the role of the coach in it. Sadly, I said something before I came in. Just that our plan B didn't work for us. After the game against Cameroon, our plan B failed. And there's no how you want to excel as a team if you don't have a plan B, or possibly a plan C. Because if your plan A is not working again, you switch to either plan B or plan C. If there are other plans to Z, exploit them. But like you said, we need to look inward. Positive taking. It means we still got quality in the Super Eagles setup. The likes of Troost-Ekong, we all thought was done and dusted for him. I also remember I told Ayo and Jide that Troost-Ekong should not be part of the squad going to the Nations Cup. We need fresh leg. I would also say here that I'm sorry. Now I'm beginning to eat my words, because now if it was the way I predicted, I won't come here and say I'm sorry. But the honest truth is, they blew me beyond my expectation.
Right.
And yes, the deed has been done. We met a much more determined Ivorian team. After the game against Senegal, they became more like a lion looking for any prey to devour. And sadly, if the game were to be played 200 times, Esther will be beaten fair and square. We didn't just turn up. Everything we touched yesterday didn't just work out well for us. That's not to say the team didn't do well at this Nations Cup. So this and so many more, I think, one, the NFF needs to consider. Let's look at the league. There are players that can play that attacking midfield role. Yes. Miguel Obi, Oge Onazi, Ogene Karo Etebo, these are guys that have played the same position. Whether we like it or not, whether Jose Mourinho converted Miguel Obi to a defensive midfielder or not, in the national team, he plays as a central midfielder. So the earlier we begin to look inward, get that creative midfielder that can solve our creative midfield issues. June is just around the corner. June next year is just around the corner. We just have less than 365 days to start counting the calendar. Some of these guys retain them. Definitely someone like Ahmed Musa may have played his last game or appearance for the Super Eagles, albeit he didn't play any game. But I feel we still need that leadership quality. And in leadership quality, we have in Troost-Ekong.
Right.
So going forward, the LFF, one should give Jose Peseiro a contract extension. Let us, let us consolidate on what we built at this Nations Cup going forward. Get 1 or 2 players that will bolster the squad, play qualifiers. 2026 is around the corner as well. So after 2026, then we can say, Jose Peseiro, thank you, goodbye.
Right. So let me just quickly ask you this, but BKO, let me ask you, who would you say stood out for you in the tournament and why? Briefly.
Overall, Lavi? It's a difficult one. I saw many good players in this tournament. And 2 goalkeepers, the Nigerian keeper and the South African keeper, Williams, they stood tall. Then Troost-Ekong. It's not easy for a defender to score 3 goals. To score 3 goals, you can not discountenance his leadership and his contribution to the team.
Right.
And I think that when you look at today's match, yesterday's match,
yeah.
The Ivorian left winger, the little boy who plays for
Adringa.
Yes, Adingra, who plays for
At Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah, I'm talking about his English club now.
Okay.
What's his name again? This club that the Japanese winger plays for, Brighton and Hove and Albion. It blew my mind yesterday. I never had any solution to him. They doubled up on him. He continued to beat them. He was the outlet through which the Ivorians terrorized us throughout. And I didn't know he was that good until yesterday. So you ask me, those are the players that I regard as the best players of the tournament.
What about you?
Like Jide said, that's going to be too close to call. First, you want to look at the leadership role of Seko Fofana, Franck Kessie. You also want to look at how Troost-Ekong, in the midst of him not being good enough to play for the national team anymore, he led, and at decisive moments, he stood up and, of course, was counted. I think Troost-Ekong, Seko Fofana for me, and, yeah, Franck Kessie.
All right. Well, thank God we took part in the team, and also we are grateful for the level of participation of the Super Eagles in AFCON.